Wake Up Dead Man is out on Netflix, the third part of the Benoit Blanc detective series. Rian Johnson returning as writer-director, Daniel Craig returning as Blanc, this time joined by Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, Daryl McCormack, Thomas Hayden Church, and Jeffrey Wright. The story is this. A young, idealistic Catholic priest is sent to a dwindling small-town parish run by an older and much more sort of jaded and aggressive priest, Monsignor Wicks. Wicks is absolutely awful. He's an asshole, egomaniac, hypocrite. He's full of hate and spite, just a terrible presence all around. And it's apparent that the two priests will not get along in the slightest. So when Wicks is suddenly killed on the Good Friday, young Father Judd becomes the prime suspect. At least until Benoit Blanc shows up, enters the scene to help resolve the seemingly impossible murder. So, gotta say, as much as I will never forgive Rian Johnson for what he did to Star Wars with The Last Jedi, I absolutely adore this series of movies. I think he and Craig could make 50 more of them and I would never get bored. The formula is just endlessly entertaining. I mean, you have a cozy murder mystery, Craig having a blast doing his ridiculous southern accent, and you've got a new cast of amazing actors every single time. This particular entry might be my favorite one yet, or at least it's very, very close between this one and the first. What I liked, aside from the obvious elements, is how it handles discussion of modern-day Catholic Church and the people around it. The writing doesn't shy away from hard critique and pointing out all the hypocrisies, nonsense, flaws, and faults of the clergy and of the people who use proximity to the clergy for their own benefit, or the people for whom outside faith is an excuse to be awful in every other aspect of their lives. But at the same time, it allows Father Judd to be a very pure representation of what the church should aspire to be. I think there's a very well stricken balance between hammering down on the critique and the quieter scenes of Judd exhibiting all the admirable qualities, most notably in the phone call scene with the woman from the construction company. It turns very suddenly from a humorous, fast-paced scene focused on the investigation into a slower, heartwarming moment of genuine connection between two people. Really loved that. Also loved Josh O'Connor as Father Judd. This guy has impressed me quite a lot in Challengers, which was my favorite movie of 2024. And here he proves it wasn't a fluke. He plays a completely different character and is still equally believable. Great stuff from him. I also loved Glenn Close and Kerry Washington. Both give powerful performances which contain a lot of unspoken emotions behind an outside facade that eventually breaks down. Josh Brolin and Daryl McCormack are both fantastically vile, just unredeemable pieces of shit characters that you just hate all the way through. Andrew Scott and Jeremy Renner, on the other hand, don't have a lot of material to work with, but you know, in such a wide ensemble, that's expectable that someone will be a bit sidelined. I like the plot. I do think it's a bit convoluted, but it makes perfect sense by the end. All the pieces fit together very well, and there are genuine clues that you can spot beforehand. The movie doesn't cheat the audience in any way. The humor was very funny, the dialogue witty, although you could say that the deeper themes of Catholicism are explored in a very unsubtle way. Like, it's not an art house film that you have to decipher. It's not all a metaphor. It's all spelled out pretty directly. But honestly, I don't think I have a problem with that because it is a mainstream popcorn flick. So I don't expect it to be a difficult watch. And if being so blunt helps it gets the message across to the wider audience, it's fine. The one thing I will criticize though is the cinematography. It breaks my heart to see a great movie like this look so pedestrian. It is very obviously a victim of the Netflix mandate to keep the lighting and focus and lenses and color palettes flat in order to make their movies watchable on smaller screens. It's really sad because say what you will about The Last Jedi, but the visuals were probably the best in all of Star Wars. So Rian Johnson is capable of creating stunning imagery, but he is prevented from achieving that here. He tries, you can see that in how he, again, pretty bluntly, plays with sunshine and clouds during the first church conversation between Blanc and Judd, or in the repeated shots of the silhouettes cast on the empty space for the cross at the church. but it feels like someone trying to compete in a Formula One race using their family car. There are some limitations you just cannot overcome. So the visuals prevent the movie from being excellent for me, but otherwise it still is very good. Funny, entertaining, interesting thematically, heartbreaking at times, heartwarming at others, and filled with great actors doing excellent work. Worth watching.